Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. For those of you that are current subscribers, really appreciate you guys again. Really appreciate the support, and for those of you that have been with me for quite some time, I appreciate you guys hanging on and really supporting this channel. And for those of you that are newer or just watching and not subscribed to my channel, I hope that this video is something that you'll enjoy, and from there you'll subscribe to my channel to see more content like this. And check out my channel as well if you haven't already, as there's a good amount of videos similar to this one. But anyway, we'll get right into it. So right in front of me I have my WeTech M4. It's a open bolt system GBBR. What we're going to do today is we're going to perform a simple field strip of this replica M4. The purpose of the video really is to just show you how to field strip your M4, reassemble it, and again, do any other work or anything else that you might need to do. That's kind of the purpose of this video, because there's going to be cases where something might break or something might need maintenance to where it'll warrant a field strip. Now this is going to be pretty bare bones basic. It's not going to be anything too complex with screws and pulling that stuff apart. A lot of this is something that you'll be capable of doing without really getting too involved. So that's really the purpose, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So first thing that you want to do before you commit to field stripping is let's remove our magazine first. So with the WeTech M4, you have your mag release on the right side. So you're just going to press that in, take your magazine out. Again, I'm going to go through it step by step, so just bear with me. Magazine, you want to get it out of there just to prevent any disruptions, any possible accidents and stuff like that. So it's just always good for a safety precaution, and it won't get in the way of things. So then from here you're going to, I'll bring this up a little closer just so you guys can kind of see a little bit better. So you're going to have generally a few things that you want to do in the sequence for it to field strip properly. So I usually advise on just setting your hammer back. So your hammer assembly is located in here. Just pull your charging handle, get that hammer locked in the locked position, and then now you can begin the next portion of the field strip. So with the M4 or M16 platform, it's going to follow kind of the same series of steps. So on the other side here, you're going to have these pins, and these are going to be ones that you're going to want to pop out in order to field strip this M4. So here's the first pin right here near the selector switch, and then the other one is at the very front of the lower frame. So usually the easier one to pop out is going to be this guy here at the end. You're just going to push that in with your nail, as much as you can until it's, I'll show you, until it's no longer flush with the gun. So you can kind of see that it's sunk in a little bit. That's pretty much what you want to look for, because then on the other side, you're going to see that it pops out a little bit here. So this is why you want to kind of push it in a little bit. So now I have enough room to get my finger under there to push the pin out. And from here, you're going to notice that the top is going to come right up like this. So let me zoom out just to better show this really quick. Alright, so now I can just break it down like so, and you're already now at a partial field strip. And the reason why I say partial is there is a way to fully detach the upper receiver from the lower frame here, the lower portion of the rifle. And that's going to be this other pin on the other side. So you kind of want to follow the same concept here, and you want to make sure that you pop this pin in until it's sunken in just like that, and enough to where you have room for your finger to pop it out. So keep in mind, you're not going to lose these pins. They're basically set to the point where the end of it that's inside here is wider than the actual hole itself. So it's not going to come out. You're not going to lose it. You can pull on it all you want, and it's not going to go anywhere. So that's kind of the nice thing there. So from there, you could just lift up, and boom, you've just detached your upper receiver from your lower frame. So now we'll get into a little bit more in depth as far as those two components. So right now we're going to look at the overall stock assembly and lower frame. So lower frame, again, you can see that my hammer mechanism is in the locked, like in the set position, whatever you want to call it. pretty much you want to make sure that it's not up. So I'm going to kind of disengage it real quick. So if you're going to field strip it with the hammer disengaged, you're just going to run into some issues. So that's why I always recommend to just rack the bolt back, so then it stays locked in place like that, and then you're able to disassemble it. So the perks of having this disassembly like so is, let's say if you need to repair any of these components on the inside, any springs, any hammer sears, anything in there, you'll be able to get in there pretty easy. You can even change out, you know, the release handle there if you needed to something different. There's different variations of different bolt releases that you can put on there. So that's kind of the other feature too. And then, you know, you have your stock here as well, and then you have this little buffer spring, which if you press into it, you can see that it goes in just like on a real AR platform. Same exact concept. So the stock itself is nothing too major. It's basically connected with the lower frame, and it is of course removable if you really wanted it to, if you wanted to change it out to something else. But again, that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to mainly show how to field strip these components and the reasoning behind it. And here are those pins that I was talking about as well. So you could see that they're basically in place. They're not going to escape from you. You're not going to lose them, and they're basically there for you when you're ready to field strip the rifle back together, which I will be showing that. So now I'm going to talk about the upper receiver next. Okay, so here's my upper. My upper is basically going to come disassembled all in one big piece. So again, there isn't really anything extra that needs to be done typically here, unless you're looking to change your foregrip out for something else. Then it's going to require removing the gas block up front, and then taking all of these pins, and they're basically like brackets and shims and stuff like that, and then from there, that's how that slides out, and then you're basically good to change it to whatever fits this particular model. Again, WeTech M4s and WeTech M16s are probably going to be different from other variations of M4s and M16s that are out there that belong to other manufacturers. So you just want to be careful. It takes a lot of research, and I always recommend to do so, especially if it comes to swapping out the handguards or any other accessories and stuff like that too. So kind of the other reason why you're going to want to field strip, you know, the upper from the lower is basic maintenance and further disassembly. So pretty much you're going to have your entire you know, gas system over here, and you're going to have your basically your bolt carrier group. At least that's what they call them in the real steel versions. So your bolt carrier group is basically going to be your entire inner assembly. So the way that that would typically come out is you can just unlock your charging handle here, so make sure you do that, otherwise it won't move. So you just want to unlock that, and you're going to notice that this entire assembly is going to come out. So first thing that's going to come out is going to be your carrier right there, and then your charging handle kind of falls right out from there. So I will go through the process of how to assemble this, so do not panic. So here now you're going to just have, you know, your dust cover here. It's basically spring loaded, so it's going to stay open unless you close it. And then here is pretty much the opening for where that bolt carrier group was, and the charging handle. So this again gives you an opportunity to really clean things out in here. You could take you know, some microfiber towels or some of those patches or something to clean all this stuff out, re-grease it, re-lubricate it, and you're good to go. And then obviously inside you have your hop-up adjustment. So this is also super easy to get in there, especially with the bolt taken out. And if something is jammed up in there, a BB or something, let's say, super easy to get it unjammed. So by field stripping it, it definitely helps. And then you know, that would be some of the more major reasons. But so we took that apart. We'll take a look at now the bolt carrier itself and go from there. So here's that charging handle. You can usually customize these as well, so that's at least in the real world when it comes to ARs, that's something that's pretty common. But this is really nothing too complex. Usually it would be good to clean this, because this is, whoops, this is where part of that bolt carrier kind of rides along here. So there's a wheel on the bolt carrier that I'm going to show you as well. So that's that, and then here's the actual bolt carrier itself. Here is that little wheel that I was talking about, that it slides basically underneath that charging handle. And then again, it's almost like a real life looking bolt carrier. The construction is kind of made for it to look almost like it. Here is your piston, so you want to be very careful here because it is spring loaded by very small springs, so you just want to be very careful here. And again, this is to clean it, make sure it's properly greased up and lubricated to work properly, and to repair anything, make sure that it's in good operating condition and it's well taken care of. I mean, you can see that this thing's pretty much brand new, because I don't use this one too often, and I usually make sure that they're pretty clean. But for the most part, you don't need to disassemble anything further from here unless it's something that's truly warranted, which, you know, at this point you could take this top portion off with a flathead screwdriver, and the actual blowback unit here again is secured by the small springs in there. So my guess is that this component comes out and then you can get in there to remove the actual piston itself. But like I said, that's more on drastic measures if you're trying to replace some of these components. But otherwise, guys, that's really the general field strip. For the most part, you're not going to need to field strip anything more than this. This is very kind of a casual and simple field strip for cleaning, for unjamming, lubricating, regreasing, whatever, you know, or fixing any broken parts. Alright guys, so next we're going to talk about putting it all back together. So like I said, don't panic. It's very straightforward to do it. You're going to grab your upper receiver first as the component to start with, and then once you grab that, you're going to see here your two openings here for the bolt carrier and for the charging handle. So you're going to want to take your charging handle first in this case. So you want to hold it just like I am now. You want this part to be kind of facing the top and that little hook at the end to be facing down. And then you're basically going to take it, you're going to put it through the opening where the bolt carrier goes, and then kind of slightly press up and then move it in forward until it kind of goes into place. So again, I'll show you because it's a little tricky. So you're going to put it all the way in, not all the way, but just partially like this, but at the same time kind of lift up on it as you're pushing it through there. And then it clicks in just like that. There's a notch inside here that has enough threshold to pretty much fit in there, and now you can push the charging handle all the way through. But don't put it all the way in just yet. Kind of have it hanging like this. So find your notch, push it in a little bit. Hold on, even I'm kind of struggling here. Oh, not quite. There we go. And then leave it like this. See, it's not easy. Even I struggle, even though I do it all the time. Then, while you have it like this, grab your bolt carrier. You're holding it just like I am, where it's parallel to the actual upper receiver, and it's facing in the same direction as the barrel where the piston is. You're going to align that wheel right in the groove of the charging handle as you insert it into the bolt carrier opening. So just like that. You see how it ends up being flush? And then from there, all you need to do is just push in the bolt carrier and the charging handle will follow until it clicks all the way in. You're going to see that over here it's flush. There's no openings of any kind, so that's what you want to avoid. And then you can go ahead and lock in your charging handle. This part's going to click in, which is basically telling you it's locked in. Now, while it's like this, refrain from pulling it because you're just going to pull the whole assembly out. So now you want to connect the two parts together, the upper and lower. You take your lower, make sure that those pins are all the way out. They might close, obviously, if you place it downward. And then you're going to just take the openings. I'm going to close my dust port. Here's your hole for the first one. Here's your hole for the second one. And you're just going to align those together. And then basically it clicks in. It should be flush, so make sure there's no seams or anything. So you see how there's a seam there? Make sure it's flush. Push in the first one. Push in the second one. And boom, you are good to go. So now you can reinsert your magazine, and you have just field stripped and reassembled a WeTech M4, and this also will work for the M16 variants as well, guys. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, it's a clean cut, simple process with how to field strip one of these bad boys, the GBB version. So if there are any questions, just feel free to leave a comment below. I will certainly do my best to answer it for you. And again, thank you guys for the support and for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great day.